Welcome. We're at episode 12 of DB Homes for Hope, where we transform distressed renters into confident homeowners.
I'm in my new era. I'm better in my new era. I'm better in my new.
And today it is my honor and pleasure. We have John Basten, who is the president of the Mid-State Group, family-owned business in Virginia since 1964. That is pretty incredible because, here at DB Homes for Hope, we want wealth that lasts generations. Previous episodes, we've discussed how we distribute our money using the 10, 10, 10, 50, 20, where we do 10% to tithe, 10% to short-term savings, 10% to long-term savings. We live off 50% of our income, and we don't want our debt to be more than 20%. Ultimately, we want to get to what? Zero. Today's focus is on insurance. So insurance is one of those expenses. It's a necessary expense, even after you are debt-free. Tell us a little bit about yourself and welcome to DB Homes for Hope.
Well, thanks for having me, Davina. You guys were saying that no one wakes up wanting to go in the insurance business. That was never a dream of mine to go into the insurance business, but here I am. It almost gives me a little bit of a twitch to even think about that as a profession. But we started off as Mid-State Insurance. And so we have grown and evolved over the years to really reflect the family of companies and services that we offer. And insurance is really just a small part of what we do, which reflects our disdain for insurance. And so really what my external title is a chief risk officer. And insurance is just one of those ways that we handle risk, but it's also the most expensive way of handling risk.
Thank you for that, John. So I want you all to know that his motto is that when our partners succeed, they also succeed. So there is no commission coming back or anything to me, I just want you to get the information, because insurance is kind of like our emergency fund. It's an umbrella that keeps us from the rain of life. What is an independent, agent or broker? Like, what is that?
Yeah, that's the one thing that, again, didn't want to be. And what is an independent broker? The main focus of what we do as a chief risk officer is coming in and helping you identify, analyze, control. And then we look at those things that we cannot control, we can't reduce, we can't mitigate, we can't, more importantly, eliminate risk-wise. Then we finance the risk, and we finance it through insurance. And then we monitor and adjust the program that you have. And that finance piece, that insurance piece, is really the fourth step. And as an independent agent, I will then have the ability, if I can do the first three steps properly, I can identify, analyze, and control the risk. And if not eliminate it, then when I go to procure your insurance, I've got a story to tell. I can say, this is what you as a business owner are doing to really understand the risks associated with your business that are unique and how you're managing and controlling those risks that allows you to afford, you actually deserve a better rate. And as a broker, I have the ability of going to a lot of different carriers and share your story that really is unique, because you could have two businesses side by side selling the exact same thing, but they're run totally different.
What I want you all to get is that each of us are unique. So yes, we're stewards of the funds that the Lord has given us, but the way we steward them may be different for each of us. And so while I'm a certified control freak, I wanted the things that are in my control. I want to have the power to make decisions and control those things. But then, like he said, there's some things that you cannot mitigate. They're outside of your control. And this is where insurance steps in. I want to read to you right out of the Bible, because everything we do at DB Homes for Hope, we're using the Lord as the source. We're using his wisdom as the source. Ecclesiastes 11, 1-2. It says, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for after many days you will find it again. Give portions to 7, yes, to 8, for you do not know what disaster may come upon the land." So you may not know what disaster, but you know some is coming. And that's where insurance, emergency fund, all of these things come into play. So John, what are some of the must-have insurance we should have to protect ourselves?
Oh, I love that question, because the snarky part of me wants to say the insurance that you actually don't have to pay for. It's these things, and I'll say honestly, is that the best insurance that you must have is the ones that actually are attached to a comprehensive and bona fide and customized risk management program that you have. You can spend a lot of money on a lot of insurance. And at the end of the day, you really could have done away with it because you've eliminated the risk. You don't want to eliminate the risk by not going into business, but there are some insurance policies that if you do not attach it to a risk management program, you're going to be spending a lot of money. So the best insurance is one that's part of a bona fide business strategy that you have. Because without a strategy, the insurance companies are just going to take all of your money, and they'll be happy to take that year after year, and you'll get nothing from it. If I'm really going to look at those policies that you have to have by law, of course, you have to have auto. So if you've got a business policy, a business auto, you got to have auto, but you also have to remember that if people are driving on behalf of your business, these employees, these non-owned autos, there's an exposure there. And so you have to make sure that you have coverage for those non-owned, or if you were to hire a vehicle, if you were to go to Enterprise and rent a vehicle, or you have other vehicles that are being rented for moving or delivery of your goods and services. So auto is a must. Workers' comp, if you've got 3 or more employees in the state of Virginia, you have to have workers' comp by law. Obviously, the general liability, your personal property, but it all depends on what kind of business that you're in. Right now, the hot topic, unfortunately, is cyber liability. More and more businesses are really having to look at what kind of cyber security plan do they have, and is that adequate? Because at the end of the day, if some 16-year-old out of Russia wants to hack into your system because they can, they're going to get in. Do you have a plan first? And 2, actually, do you have insurance? And so we're seeing cyber liability as a major must nowadays for a lot of business, especially if your business is collecting data of your customers.
I want viewers to understand that there's certain things that you should just get because it protects you. So auto insurance, whether you're a business or individual, auto insurance. We want to have renter's insurance. If you're a homeowner, homeowner's insurance. So he talked about general liability for your business, but it's also protecting the assets within your business, right?
Yeah, at the end of the day, what our goal here is to protect the golden goose. I was taught by my great-grandfather that, we are all given these golden eggs, some more than others, and we never want to kill the golden goose. Right. And so if you have a business, one of the things that I really tell business owners is, especially when you're asking, what insurance do you need? Well, I don't know. Do you have a contract with a landlord? Let us take a look at that contract and see what you have obligated yourself to. Maybe you're taking credit cards. And when you look at Amex and Visa, look at those agreements and look what you've agreed to. Now, sometimes a cyber liability policy is the only policy that will respond to the very things that you've promised. So I kind of start with each business on a unique basis where I start looking at the various contracts and promises that they've made, because ultimately we might have to purchase insurance just because you made a promise contractually.
And so some of the contracts as individuals that we partake in are credit cards, saying that we're going to pay what we owe on the credit card. That's a contract.
Oh, it really is.
You signed. And so when we assume these debts, we're saying that we're going to pay them back. He's particularly talking about businesses, but I want you to see your personal finances as a business. Because when you steward well what the Lord has given you personally, then it will transfer to what you're doing in your business. Next episode, we're going to talk about investing in ourselves. And one of those ways is using your skills to become a business so you can monetize those things. Tell us a little about how you and your business, you support your community, because we're big on community focus. How can we exercise those things in our daily life?
Yeah, well, my journey with the model that we've set up here at the Midstate Group, again, we started off as Midstate Insurance, and I came into this business not, again, wanting to be an insurance agent at all. And so I came in, and at the same time, I became a follower of Christ, of Jesus, back in 2003. And about that time, Keith Cook, who was one of the managers at Humankind, he was my small group leader, and he brought to us a book that he recommended reading, and that was a book called Chazon, Chazwon or A-N, I believe. It's Hebrew, so don't hold me to that spelling. Chazon, but it really means, what is God's purpose for you? And how does that vision of the purpose that God has for your life align with his will? And so I really didn't know, as a new Christian at that time, of really how to incorporate all these gifts that I had. And so I really started creating this model of how do we serve our community. And it started with our customers. It
Right.
started with, hey, our customers really did not know how to understand to manage the risks of a new business or a growing business or a thriving business. So we brought in HR, we brought in safety and cyber consulting and leadership consulting and financial consulting. But one of the things that we realized is that built inside of us is this natural DNA to serve others.
Yes.
And Jesus showed us and modeled that behavior. He came to properly interpret scripture, but more importantly, show us how to live that out.
Yes.
We've realized that our employees are amazing givers. Our customers are amazing givers.
Right.
So what we did as a natural outpouring of that was create Midstate Cares, which is a nonprofit.
Right.
Our employees started giving money out of their own paycheck. Our customers started giving money. They were already giving money and they weren't expecting a tax write-off.
Right.
But we just created another mechanism through that that outpouring of love and servitude. Our customers of Midstate care, our employees care, our partners like you care. And so we wanted a specific arm dedicated to providing care to the community. And one of the things that we've done is partnered specifically with the Care Portal. We
Yes.
partnered with 518. Now we're a part of that community-based program to help our community, specifically our children who are in need through 518 and 424. 365 initiative, 36.5 hours of time off to go and do nothing but serve their community. So we want to encourage that. And that's just some of the ways that we've done it.
Oh my goodness. I just want to applaud him. He's actually, his company, based on his leadership, is caring for the community. He's putting into practice what he's preaching. Also, he's named a lot of our nonprofits locally. Humankind, 518 Family Services, Freedom 424, which helps with human trafficking to get people out of that lifestyle. Because no one volunteered for it, believe me.
Yeah.
We actually complete each other as we're helping our neighbors so they can win in all walks of life through healthcare, through finances, through strong family ties.
Yeah.
And most importantly, through their faith, because we know that is the foundation where everything
Absolutely.
starts. I thank you for your time.
Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate this.
Please subscribe so other people can get this information so we can reach others and we can win with money. So when I ask the question, got money? You can say, yes, you do. Wealth through generations.